Evan's Journey to Life. Dethroning God, Day 16. In this post, we're continuing having a look at the manifested consequences of ourselves as ego, how we created ourselves into ego from creating energy through the friction we manifested in our accepted and allowed separation from and of substance of as equality and oneness. From that friction, generating energy as experiences categorized within relationships of negativity, neutrality, and positivity. How we separated ourselves from ourselves as the whole, and further separated ourselves within ourselves, categorizing ourselves within and without into and as relationships as experience of energy, as negativity, neutrality, and positivity. Furthermore, within this, instead of creating with the force of life as substance of as equality and oneness, with all as self inequality and oneness, we created ourselves into individualized energy entities as manifested illusions, internalized gods as judges unto ourselves and all as ourselves, creating an internal and external self and an existence of judgmental relationships within the natures of negativity, neutrality, and positivity. In this, creating a self with a purpose of energy survival instead of self living. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to create me into and as an energy entity as illusion that has become dependent on energy for my own survival as energy, where this dependency relationship to myself as energy has to be infinitely maintained through me infinitely generating friction as separation from of all as me in as existence. To from the friction generate energy as experience that I defined, valued within myself, within the natures of negativity, neutrality, and positivity. In this dependency relationship to me as energy, I have accepted and allowed myself to limit, diminish me to an existence of survival, because energy in its very manifestation nature is finite, as its very existence is dependent on me constantly, continuously generating friction as maintaining my separation from and of all as me in and as the relationships of negativity, neutrality, and positivity. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, understand the finiteness of energy, because the moment I stop generating the energy through the friction as manifested separation of me from and of all as me as the manifested substance of as existence, as equality and oneness, energy would cease to exist. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to create directly and indirectly a world system of money within this exact equal and one dependency relationship I have created towards and with myself as energy, where the world system of money has a dependency relationship manifested to and towards all within this physical existence, where our very selves and our physical lives in and on this earth is and has become dependent on money. The consequence of this stand within the point where ourselves and our lives have become finite within this physical existence, from the perspective that who we are and how and what we live is limited, diminished to only the extent amount of money available to us within our lives, equal to and one with my relationship with energy, with myself as energy, where who I am within as energy, as I create my relationships of experience as negativity, neutrality, and positivity, is and has been limited, diminished to the amount of energy available to me that I would be able to generate through friction. So, dependent on the amount of energy I can generate within me, will depend on the extent amount I would be able to evolve my who I am and how I live in my relationship throughout existence. Same as how it exists now here on earth, dependent on the amount of money I can generate for me within my living will depend on the extent amount I would be able to develop, evolve my who I am and how I live within and as the world system. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, understand the extent to which I have accepted and allowed myself to become dependent on energy to create, manifest who I am and what I live, equal to and one with the extent to which I have become dependent on money to create, manifest who I am and how I live. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to create me as an I, into and as an energy entity, and throughout time made myself believe that this I is energy, which, yes, what I have become is energy, as I have accepted and allowed myself to create who I am as energy. The moment I accepted and allowed myself to separate me from all as me within existence, separating me from eternal substance into and as finite energy. And so I became energy. And so my living as I, as energy, became the production of energy through experiences of negativity, neutrality, and positivity to constantly, continuously create me as energy, a total self creation process. Where I diminished, limited my creation process from creating me as all as me within and as existence, in and as equality and oneness, to only creating me for myself within myself as energy, as at the expense cost of all as me within as existence, as I take the very substance of as existence, of and as equality and oneness, and transform it into energy within myself, for my own survival as energy only. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to create a world system of money, where the world system of money had become equal to and one with my mind of energy, where within the principle of you will create, manifest who you are, I created the world system in the image and likeness of my mind, and money in the image and likeness of my energy, where who I am as energy within stands equal to and one with who I am as money without. I within equals energy / I without equals money. In the world system of money, I create who I am through, with, and as money. In my mind of energy, I create who I am through, with, and as energy. And with money in and as the world system, I continue with my self-creation process of producing money to continue creating me, my life, my living, only within as the world system of money, equal to and one with my self-creation process of producing energy to creating me, my life, my living through my mind as energy. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to create me within as I, into and as a finite energy, equal to and one with creating me as I, into and as finite money, where within myself I am dependent on constant continuous energy production through friction to generate my I as finite energy, equal to and one with my dependency on constant continuous money production through friction in and as this physical existence to generate my I of and as money as I have created with my within from energy and my within and without from money. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to limit my existence to energy dependency and money dependency, not seeing, realizing, understanding the consequence of me as energy within and money without, within the nature of energy and money as finiteness, where because I accepted and allowed myself to create my I into and as finite energy, dependent on energy production through friction to towards substance of as equality and oneness, I equally as one created my I within and as the context of and as this physical existence as a whole, into and as a world system of money, dependent on money production through friction to and towards this physical existence as a whole. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand that for me to exist as my I of and as energy, I deliberately create friction within towards substance of and as equality and oneness into an as a negative, as the very nature manifestation of that friction, going from a whole as equality and oneness into an as a negative, transforming that very part of me as substance as whole into and as a negative as friction that I experience within me as energy, manifest as my initial creation, producing process of and as energy for myself. Equal to and one with the world system's relationship to towards all within this physical existence that generate friction to towards this physical existence through taking from this physical existence as a creation producing process of and as money for itself, transforming actual physicality into and as money, manifesting its initial relationship to towards this physical existence in and as a negative. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, understand how within myself, from the negative as friction, I experienced within me The resonance experience of that friction negativity manifested, rippled, reverberated within me as the neutral experience, where I was experiencing only me, and the positive, the accumulation of the friction, negative accumulation, accumulating the experience resonance of neutrality into and as the experience of positivity, where I was experiencing more of me within myself. In this, manifesting the world system of money in the image and likeness of and as me as mind and energy, where the world system of money itself generate friction as the negative towards this very physical existence. As it produced the physical into as money, it manifests itself into and as a neutrality, as it's experiencing only itself as money, while the physical is transformed into and as money. And as it continued generating friction as the negative and accumulating itself as money through transforming physicality into money, it manifests the positive as experiencing manifesting more of itself as money, the more it continues transforming physicality into money, from friction, negativity, to neutrality, to positivity. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, within my finite self-existence as energy, not see, realize, understand how, dependent on the extent of friction I generate, will depend on the extent of neutrality I manifest as the experience of only me, and so the extent of positivity I manifest as the experience of more of as me. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, in this finite energy entity existence of me, in my relationship as a singularity towards the whole, I accepted and allowed myself to make myself more in relationship to the whole. But this moreness was limited into and as a confinement of me as only a singularity, not seeing, realizing, understanding that this more experience of and as only me was positive energy, accumulated from the neutral experience of and as only me, generated from friction as negativity, as manifested separation from and of the whole as me, as manifested substance of and as equality and oneness. In this, I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, understand that this more of and as me, I, was not in fact me as who I am, being more than anything, anyone within as existence as me, but that this more was in fact more energy, that I was experiencing more and of as me as energy. But because I had come to define and value and so manifest as I as energy, I believed me as energy manifest to be more than all within and as its existence as the manifested substance of and as equality and oneness, making me as energy more than the equality and oneness of and as all as me within as existence. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to create, manifest the world system of money in my image and likeness, as the world system of money had been positioned in a relationship to and as all within this physical existence as the more, making the world system of money more than everything, everyone else in and as this physical existence. But it's not that the world system of money in and itself is in fact more than all, everything, everyone within as this physical existence, but because I defined, valued who I am as money without, the moreness of and as the world system of money simply exists due to the more money it create, manifest, produce for itself within as this physical existence. And because each as myself defined, valued there who I am as money without, the more money you get and have, the more you are within as the reality of and as the world system of money. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, within my finite self-existence as money, not see, realize, understand how, dependent on the extent of friction I generate within towards this physical existence, will depend on the extent of neutrality I manifest as the experience of only me within and as money, and so to the extent of positivity I manifest as the experience of more of as me as money. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, understand how, for me to experience the positive as the more of and as me within myself as energy, and for me to experience the positive as more of and as me in the without as myself as money, I have to generate more friction. In this, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to, limit, diminish my relationship to towards all as me, within as the nature of and as competition, where the game of survival has been who, what, in and as existence can generate the most friction to get the most energy, who and as this existence can generate the most friction to towards and within this physical existence to get the most money. Instead of what, how we were supposed to have been existing within and as equality and oneness, as creating, living together, here where competition as survival do not exist, because we're all in fact equal and one, assisting and supporting each other to develop, grow, and expand as and through living, instead of what we have become now, competing for survival through using, abusing ourselves and all as ourselves to generate the most friction, to generate the most energy and money. I forgive myself that I've accepted and allowed myself to, in this moreness of and as me, as positivity, generate from neutrality and created from negativity friction, exalt myself into and as my own internalized godhood status, where I throned and cloaked myself into and as being a god, in and as myself alone only, as my stance as creator of and as only me as energy. But when looking through the dimensions, levels of as this god, of and as me as self-creator, as manifested energy of illusion, the reality of me as the deception of what I in fact am and have become is an energy machine that had limited, diminished myself to experiencing myself as a more positive God within and as the context of and as only me, that only exists as such at the cost, expense of, as all as me within and as its existence as substance of and as equality and oneness, as I use and abuse the substance within and as the very origin of and as me as energy through friction negativity, equal to and one with what this world system of money has become, throned and cloaked itself as being the God in and as itself alone only, as its stance as creator of and as only itself as money. But when looking through the dimensions, levels of and as this God, as the world system of money, as money creator, the reality of it as the deception of what it in fact is and have become, is an money machine that is limited, diminished to experiencing itself as a more positive God within and as the context of and as only itself as money, that can only exist as such, at the cost, expense of and as all within as its physical existence as substance of and as equality and oneness, as it use, abuse, substance, physicality, within and as the very origin of and as itself as money through friction negativity. And that I within myself accept and allow the without as myself to not change, because as I continue using and abusing substance through friction to generate energy for myself, I will continue accepting and allowing a world system of money that use, abuse physicality through friction to generate money for itself. I commit myself to, through writing self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, stop the separation within myself as what I had become as the relationships tuned towards me within the natures of negativity, neutrality, and positivity. As I see, realize, understand that the more of and as me as the experience of my positivity is in fact generated from and of the origin of me as negativity, as my deliberate, accepted, and allowed abuse to towards all as me. I commit myself to, through writing self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, dethrone and uncloak myself as God, as my own mind consciousness, as a manifested deception of and as creator, creation. I have accepted and allowed myself to diminish, limit myself as I see, realize, understand that for me to exist as this God, more positivity, everything and all as me within and as this physical existence gets used and abused. Because for me to continue existing as this God, more positivity, I will not stand up and change the world system of money that I have an image and likeness relationship towards. Because for me to exist as God, positivity, more as energy manifest, the world system as money manifest, as God, positivity, more has to continue existing so that I have more energy within and more money without to continue my self-deluded godhood. I commit myself to, through writing self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, stop my delusion of being more within and as myself towards existence, as I see, realize, understand that this moreness is an illusionary experience of and as only energy that I have accepted and allowed myself to become as who I am of and as energy, and to, as I walk my internal process, walk my external process of and as me within the world system of money, transforming the I of and as me as a world system of money that only exists to experience more of and as money for itself, and change the starting point of me from energy to life, and the starting point of the world system from money to life. In this, I commit myself to assist and support me through the process of writing self-forgiveness and self-corrective application, transform my I of and as energy to stand as with life of and as equality and oneness, and always walk within the principle of and as what's best for all, and no more in the dependency of what is only best for I as energy, as survival. So that in this, the world system of money will transform to a system that consider what is and will be best for all in and as equality and oneness, where it's no more about the more of money, but the consideration regard of each life, physical, living in and as this physical existence. I commit myself to stand as life, which is me standing as equality and oneness, with and as all as me, proving this equality and oneness in and as my actual physical living in this physical existence. And two, through my physical living as equality and oneness as life, create a physical existence equal to and one with me as life, where life as equality and oneness is honored, respected, and regarded by each and all, as all stand as life. And so we birth life as ourselves from within and as this physical existence through walking our process of writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, transforming the relationship of separation energy to living agreements of equality and oneness. As we walk our physical process within, we walk our physical process without, as we all have to come together and stand together and take responsibility for our creation as this physical existence, to transform it into a reality where all together, in fact, live in as equality oneness. Therefore, the commitment to stand as life and walk the process to becoming life has to be walked by each individually, and as more come together and stand together as walking the process to stopping the I of energy and becoming the life, living of life, we step into our creation as this physical existence and manifest it to become equal to and one with who we are as life.